Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tuesday, December 5th, 2023, 7 p.m. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. First topic, I'd like to do a call to order, so I officially call this meeting to order. And I'd now like to go to determination of a quorum. So staff, will you conduct roll call to establish that we have a quorum present?
Will do. Commissioner Devers? Present. Commissioner James?
Present.
Commissioner Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Stewart?
Present.
Commissioner Smith?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Awesome. Quorum is achieved. Thank you so much. If I could ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may have a seat. All right, commissioners, I will now entertain a simple motion to approve the meeting agenda for this meeting of December 5th, 2023.
Commissioner James, I motion that we approve the agenda for this evening, December 5th, 2023.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
Commissioner Devers, second.
Awesome. I now have a motion and a second, so I will call this to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The motion carries. Thank you. The fifth agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes. Our last meeting was held in October. We did not have any topics for our November meeting. So commissioners, I trust that you've reviewed the meeting minutes that are available as well as available to the public. If there are no questions or discussions from the October meeting minutes, I will now entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Commissioner James, I move that we approve the meeting minutes from the October 3rd, 2023 meeting.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Stewart, I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All approve of approving the meeting minutes from our October meeting. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that agenda item passes. Next, we have public comments. I will now open the period for public comments. Please reserve your comments related to a specific agenda item. We have two new business items for when I call for those items later on. So these are just general comments. Comments to the Planning and Zoning Commission should be limited to no more than 2 minutes. Groups wishing to address an issue should select 1 or 2 spokespersons. The time allowed for all issues shall not exceed a total of 15 minutes. Issues raised at this time are generally referred to the Director of Planning and Zoning for review, and responses will be provided at a later date. So now I will open the time for general public comments not related to any of our new business items. Is anybody? Oh. Just.
My name's Ernie Brooks. I live over here in the agriculture historical district next to Charcot's Farm. And I just want to make a general comment of appreciation for what you do. I know there's a lot of lonely meetings and there's a lot of long hours y'all put in. Thank you for what you do. Second, just I want to say I read somewhere that agriculture was the first culture. And so with that in mind, you know, there's a lot of development, and this is just in general terms. Just keep that thought in mind. Also, as Robert's Rules of Order on the agenda, you have number H, old business, and many people may ask, well, how old is that business? And I think the proper, by Robert's Rules, is unfinished business. Thank you once again.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Eccles, hello. Okay, so now, which is an annual thing here at the Planning and Zoning Commission, is the election of Planning and Zoning Commission officers. I'm currently the chair, Mr. Stewart is the co-chair. And so, commissioners, I will now entertain a motion to elect one commissioner to serve as the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do I have anyone that'd like to make a motion to elect someone as chair?
Commissioner Stewart, I'd like to make a motion that Commissioner Devers be our new chair in the year 2024 and going forward.
Do I hear a second?
Commissioner Smith, second that motion.
All right, I have and I will third that. I have a motion and a second, so to elect Commissioner Devers as the chair of the Fairburn Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against this say nay. The motion carries. Now for our second piece, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion to elect one commissioner to serve as vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Chairman, I would like to nominate Commissioner Jason to serve as a co-chair for the upcoming 2024 year.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Stewart, I second that.
No other motions? I have a motion and a second to elect Jason Jones, myself, as the vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in opposition say nay. That motion passes. So now we will actually switch seats,
They're changing
right?
the guy.
We change it right now? Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations, Ms. Devers. You're in good hands. Gather our papers.
This year, buddy.
Thank you very much. I'm still around. Can't get me anything that easy. The ceremonial switching of the nameplates. Tuck the seat.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
You will say you just. No, I'm just.
Okay. Okay. We will now move into the new business portion of the agenda. Our first item of new business is as follows: the Curry Bend preliminary plat.
We didn't have any old business. I just wanted to make sure that that was accounted for in the record. Mm-hmm.
We do not have anything on the agenda under unfinished business. Okay, moving forward. We will now move into the new business portion of the agenda. Our first item of the new business is as follows: the Curry Bend preliminary plat. Staff, I will now ask you to present the staff with analysis and the recommendations.
Hello, Commissioners. Long time no see. I'm glad to be before you here tonight. I hope you all have been well, and happy holidays to everyone. I have two requests tonight. The first request is to review the preliminary plat for the proposed Curry Bend subdivision at 0 Bohannon Road and 6560 Bohannon Road. A completed application has been submitted and staff has made a recommendation. Let's please go over the site. So the site is located adjacent to the Asbury Park subdivision. It is currently zoned PD, plant development. The site is approximately 70.17 acres. This is what it looks like today. They have included an accurate, up-to-date, and certified survey, as well as the preliminary plat, as you will see on the screen and in your report. The judgment, summary, and approval from the mayor and city council allow for the development of 114 single-family lots, 126 townhouses, commercial uses, and a convalescent center and/or nursing home or hospice, and a personal care home / assisted living or hospice facility. The preliminary plat provided by the applicant has met all requirements and conditions subject to review at this phase of development review process. Staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat. I conclude. Thank you.
Staff, I will now ask you to present the Oh, thank you. I will now entertain questions for staff regarding the request. Commissioners, now is your time to ask questions of staff, the applicant, and members of the public.
Yes, the applicant is available to answer any questions.
Is the applicant here?
Mr. Curry? If you can get to the front, please.
Good afternoon, good evening, good evening.
Evening.
Sorry.
Good evening. Mr. Curry, is there anything that you would like to contribute for us to hear or know about the plan development?
Not really, ma'am. I think it'd be a great added value to the community, to the people, the hospice and personal care home. I think all of us are beginning to get older in life, and people are living longer. So this was an idea of something that we felt we wanted to do for the community, all of Fairburn and the surrounding areas. Being able, if you've been a caregiver or caretaker before, you know what I mean when I say that. And so this is part of a time that's just come for us. We've been there for over 35 years, 36 years. So we felt it was time to move on to the next phase and add value to the community and to the city. Had a lot of experiences with the caretaker side of it through my own personal family, from cancer and this type of thing, and 24-hour care, having the idea where a person can go on vacation and still have their loved one stay there for overnight, for the weekend, give the caretaker a break. So this is our goal, and the quality and care of the subdivision. Met with Asbury Park. They had some input into it, the walking trails and things like that. You have a swimming pool and a lot of other real nice things, the sidewalks and all of the other things that have been asked for. So it's been a very quality approach to the matters here at hand. And we thank you for your consideration. I'll answer any questions you might.
Yeah, I have one question. So while it will have various levels of assisted living and a hospice there, the community itself is not age restricted. It's not like a 55 and over. It's single family, multi-generational, but it also has that part that will, potentially help the relatives of those people that are living there. But it's not a retirement community per se, correct?
Right, but it has all of the additions or potential additions depending on what the market dictates.
Sure.
But the idea is to have this caregiving facility so that people, again, as caretakers, can look after their relatives in what we call quality of life. And it means a lot to so many people that have been caretakers before in their life.
Okay. No further questions?
I do have a question. So earlier when you mentioned that if someone's going out of town, they can drop off a loved one. So this isn't a final location for the residents of the hospice. This is, you can bring them, they can stay for a few days and then check back out.
Check back out. So you've had someone in your family, or not even your family, but you have a friend, someone that you caretake for them 24 hours a day, and you need a break. And this way they have the 24-hour service that allows you to do that in the quality of care. We call it the level of care. Hopefully extends their life some, but it gives the caretaker a break to be able to take a vacation or whatever they may need to have a break also.
Are there any additional questions?
Commissioner Smith, so I'm trying to get an understanding. So would that be a designated area for caretaking?
Yes, sir.
So how many apartments or housing would you have to designate for that?
Well, the agreement states that we have, I believe it's 70 units and up to 210 beds as a maximum. That's as a maximum.
210 beds?
Beds.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes, sir.
so if you got a patient that's on dialysis, will they be able to receive, medical services such as, dialysis while they're at your, facility?
Commissioner, I don't think so, because that's a level of care that would require a whole nother level of care.
Okay.
If you follow what I'm saying, you have these different levels of care.
Right.
That particular level of care, I would suspect, it wouldn't mean that they could not come back there after they have done the dialysis at facility, but
Will your
Would not be
caretakers
doing.
take them to dialysis if they needed to go and bring them back?
I think that's a possibility. The service, you'd want to give all of the services that you can do to, again, enhance their quality of life. So if it makes it easier for the parent and customer, I mean, this is a better way to do this, if it's allowed under the, the medical conditions. Might be that they have to be transported by an ambulance as opposed to having another vehicle
Right.
to do this.
Any more questions or discussion?
So you won't have transportation vehicles?
We don't know the answer to that yet, but the ambulances will always be available. But I mean, we probably will have a vehicle, but I mean, that again, the transportation, depending on the level of care. Obviously, if someone has an emergency, heart attack, tumor, brain, some kind of seizure or something like that, obviously that's a 911. And you're gonna rush to do that. The dialysis obviously would be, they're on a schedule when they go to the clinic or where they go to have the dialysis done. Again, it just all depends on the level of care. So we'll be, structuring that to whatever we need to.
Do you have an idea how many people would be in one room?
Well, the state allows for so many people. See, we're regulated by the state. You're going to be regulated by the state as to how many different people you can have in a room. So some of the marketing says, people now, they want one separate suite. So you're going to have some of those probably with just one suite. And you might have some others where people cannot afford to be in the suite. So you try to fix it so it's affordable for everybody. You want to try to make it available to everybody. The person who can't afford to pay a large sum of money, but there's some other people we need to help too. So they might have to have two in a room, but you might have a husband and wife that want to share the room. And you might have one or two other people that don't care to be in the room with the other person. So you've kind of got to do the matrix and see how it all works out.
Commissioners, out of time.
I'm glad you mentioned that. It is income-based.
Yes, sir. You got to pay the bills, insurance, the overhead, and the care. The different levels of care require, giving medicines, same time during the day and this type of thing. 3 square meals, 2 snacks, something like that. And then the activities, you need the physical therapy, you need this type of thing, all a part of your overall well-being.
Commissioners, we're out of time. Okay, I will now call this item to a vote to approve or deny the preliminary plat.
Yes, sir. Do I go back now?
Yeah, you got to see.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Commissioners, need a motion and a second?
This is Commissioner Jones, all the way down here. Hello, Chair. I put forth a motion to approve the Curry Bend preliminary plat.
Commissioner Stewart, I second the motion.
All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those in opposition signify by saying nay.
Nay.
The motion carries. Okay, our second item of new business is as follows, text amendment. Staff, I will now ask you to present staff analysis and recommendations.
Hello again. The second request I have is to discuss the Little Free Libraries. A Little Free Library is a nonprofit organization based in St. Paul, Minnesota. Their mission is to be a catalyst for building community, inspiring readers, and expanding book access for all through a global network of volunteer-led Little Free Library book exchange boxes. Their vision is for Little Free Library to be in every community and to provide a book for every reader. Little Free Libraries provide 24 access to books. They foster new Little Free Libraries. They grant Little Free Libraries to high-need areas. They champion diverse books, and they collaborate with key community partners. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval to the Mayor and City Council for amendments to Chapter 80 Zoning, Article 2 Zoning Districts.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not finished yet. The summary of the text changes include Little Free Library structures are permitted in all residential and commercial zoning districts. Structures shall not be located within or overhanging the public right-of-way or any public easement. Structures shall not obstruct vehicle, bicycle, or pedestrian traffic, either physically or by a person utilizing the Little Free Libraries. The structure shall not obstruct access aisles or paths utilized by persons in wheelchairs or for ADA accessibility. Structure shall not be located in front of any street frontage. Structure shall be sized and arranged such that no person or child can physically enter. Structure shall be anchored to the ground or otherwise securely attached to something having a permanent location on the ground. And structure shall be identified on a site plan and registered with the City of Fairburn. I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now entertain questions for staff regarding the request.
Sure, Chancellor, this text amendment, while it's Little Free Library, which is an organization, I'm assuming this applies to any type of these pop-up little mailbox-looking libraries, whether it was the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or a school organization that wanted to build them. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then, does it have to be located on a sidewalk, right, so that somebody can walk up safely, right, versus, oh, there's a sidewalk on one side, because I've seen some, and on the other side of the street, there's no sidewalk, and it's just kind of in the grass, right? Is there anything that I should be reading through this that would say, hey, it needs to be in a pedestrian-safe location?
We can definitely investigate that, but as it stands, it would just simply be access on someone's property, whether they have a sidewalk or not on their property.
Okay.
That's something that we can investigate.
I'd like, because I know there's one that's not too far from downtown that's not on a sidewalk, and frankly, just I don't think it gets used. And then the second question, or the third one, is maintenance. So while it's great, the intention is good, I've actually taken a book or two from these and put some in. Weather, years, wood rot, right? Is there anything for proposed regulations that organization has to be responsible for maintaining, or if it becomes in such a state of disrepair, to remove that?
Yes, that's something that we can investigate. That is a good recommendation. I believe that the person who installs the Little Free Library should be in charge of maintenance, but that's something that we can look into.
Okay, yeah, I just think there's a way, because, you know, they said this organization's in Minnesota, they put it together, they move on to other communities, which is wonderful, right? But 2 years from now, it's rotten and the latches are broke and so, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Everyone's good?
Commissioner Smith, I have a question. Did you say that it was gonna be on people's property?
It will be on a person's property.
So, I guess what I'm hearing is it's gonna be on somebody's property. That mean that people can go by that person's property and put books in, take books out?
That is correct.
You would have to have the property owner's permission, though.
That's my point.
Mhm.
Okay.
And how would you gain the property owner's permission?
Right.
Typically, from my understanding, my experience dealing with Little Free Libraries is that either the property owner erects the structure itself, or they hire someone to erect the structure. And with that being said, they typically do give their permission for people to enter and exit off their property to be able to either pick out a book or put a book back in.
Okay, so it's assumed you have the permission. Okay.
Yes.
There are no additional questions or discussions. I will now call this item to a vote for a recommendation to approve or deny the text amendments proposed by staff.
Commissioner Jones, as it's currently put forth to approve the proposed new regulations for text amendment for the pop-up Little Free Libraries. Motion to approve.
Commissioner James, I second the motion.
I now have a motion and a second, so I will call the vote. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those in opposition, please signify by saying nay. The motion carries.
Good afternoon. We have a couple other text amendments we will be discussing this evening. We've been doing a significant job in reviewing all sections of the ordinance, and there have been some issues that have been a little bit more prevalent than others. One of those is short-term rentals. We do have regulations in place, but with the changes in technology and utilization of other areas outside of the principal structures and parties and other issues, we just wanted to kind of tighten that area up a little bit. We are recommending just some additional language that says short-term rentals shall be used for overnight lounging accommodations. At no time shall any person use a short-term rental for things like solely weddings, receptions, parties, commercial functions, advertising, rental of outdoor amenities, swimming pool rentals, other similar assemblies that are separated from the purposes of lounging. At no time shall garages, tents, campers, recreational vehicles, accessory structures, or other exterior. The goal with this is just to make sure that that is very clear with the expectations. We do have a process where you fill out an application and you're required to give us a lot of detail, then the fire marshal's involved, but we just want to make sure that that part is clear in the ordinance. Also, if anyone is advertising, we are wanting to make sure that that part was clear, that you have to have a license, which means you've gone through the process, you understand the regulations. That's the proposed change for short-term rentals, and if it's okay, I'll proceed with home occupations.
Can I ask a question about short-term? From a short-term rental perspective, this still gives HOAs the ability to restrict or say, we don't want to have short-term rentals? Does that still give an HOA the leeway to say, hey, if you're in this community, only 10% can be short-term, or maybe none?
Correct. This does not impact HOA covenants at all. This is only, involves the city's involvement in code enforcement.
Okay.
The HOA covenants still are.
And the responsible party for enforcing this, should a citizen have a complaint or think that, oh, wow, they're renting out their swimming pool, which is a thing, or they're renting out their RV in their driveway, that would actually go to code enforcement?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good question.
That's my question.
Any other questions regarding short-term rentals? The next item is home occupation. Of course, we have a lot of folks that are working from home, and we want to make sure that there are opportunities to do so with the technology changing. There are a lot of virtual businesses, but nevertheless, with the same short-term rentals, we've noticed some unusual activity. So we wanted to make sure, with regard to home occupation, we're very clear about the things that are strictly prohibited. Those items like working on a vehicle or running a mechanic shop, or supply rental businesses that involve heavy equipment, food preparation, animal care, junk, swimming pool rentals, accessory structures. And we wanted to make it explicitly clear that short-term rentals are not permitted as a home occupation. That's an entirely separate section of the ordinance. So for home occupation, we just wanted to make sure that those items were crystal clear to everyone, so that's why we're proposing these changes.
So is this, the home occupations related to short-term rentals, or are you saying, like, for instance, I see animal care. So let's say you have someone that lives by themselves, lives in their house, and part-time they groom dogs. Is that saying that's not allowed?
Correct. That would not be permitted in a residential development. So if you applied for a home occupation, you would have to apply for a home occupation. If you have a home office, that's fine. But if you're going to be having animals at that location, you would have to pick the appropriate zoning where that is permitted.
Okay, okay, interesting.
We've had some issues with those as well.
Sure, no, that's, oh, wow. Just-
So those are the proposed changes related to home occupation. And that's all I have. 1 second. So those are the text amendments that we're proposing. Next month, we will, of course, have some more because we are going through all sections of the ordinance. We also will be putting out a request pretty soon regarding a complete audit, but for some of the things that are related to code enforcement and some of the issues we've seen in various communities. Residents have been telling us about certain things, and we just wanted to make sure that those items were very clear. So those are the recommendations from staff.
Can I ask one other question on the, it says the dispatch centers or other businesses where employees come to the site and are dispatched. So let's say, I'm a plumber, right, and I'm an independent plumber, and I have my plumbing truck that's in my driveway, right, according to code, and then I have a worker that is gonna meet me in the morning, and is gonna ride with me to my plumbing project, right? Is that considered dispatch, right? Because now, I mean, this potentially could impact, thousands of people doing, kind of independent sole proprietors that have an assistant or an apprentice.
That's an excellent point. We can certainly look into that to make sure that that part is clarified for those trades that may involve having folks come to just get locations, but we can clarify that.
Okay, so it seems like the intent is more for like large scale, like, oh, I've got, 10 tow trucks or 15 other cars that are there, but, a plumbing truck and my employee comes and parks in my driveway and we both hop in the truck and go, doesn't,
We can clarify that
okay,
so
you can
that it, yeah.
clarify that. And by approving these or not approving these, is this like written, like firm or?
No, we just need recommendations
Okay.
from the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then based on your feedback, we take it to City Council with
Okay.
changes to reflect some of those comments.
Because I think that just knowing some small business owners in Fairburn and in other places, I think maybe defining that dispatch center a little bit more. I mean, you could even argue as a kid mowing yards and his buddies come over and they all meet at the house and they go to, mow yards somewhere, that could be considered a dispatch center. So something along those lines. I think just maybe a little more clarifying language, but
Yeah,
that's
we
my
can
only
do
comment.
that.
Okay.
And you may tie it to, got your recommendation regarding large-scale assemblies, which is the intent, so we can clarify that.
Because I think it's that fine line between a hobby that's kind of a side hustle business, right? Oh, I work on cars-ish, right? But it's not like I have 20 cars at there. I've just got my buddy's car that I do that car and then I'm done and then somebody recommends. So just maybe clarifying the intent so it doesn't penalize, entrepreneurship. But it sounds like we just don't want to have a true big business that's disrupting residential life, I'm assuming.
Yes, that is the intent, and we've had issues with folks not necessarily having business license, but having a large amount of vehicles stored and working on them actively, and at no point those vehicles leaving.
Yeah.
So that does have an impact on residential areas and property values, so we're just trying to clarify that.
Okay, thank you.
That is a good point, because if you have neighbors who are complaining about someone with one vehicle, they're working on a vehicle in the driveway, maybe there's consistently one vehicle there. I guess it all depends on whether you have an HOA as well, but if they're calling code enforcement for something like that, I guess we do need some more clarification. Okay.
Any additional questions? Our third item of new business is as follows, executive session.
Can I get a motion?
We need
Is
to
there-
Yeah.
vote on these last two.
Okay. I now have a motion and a second, so I will call the vote. All of those in favor of the motion that's stated, please signify by saying aye.
Actually, I'll make a motion to approve the text amendment for short-term rentals and home occupation.
Commissioner James, I second the motion
got.
for both text amendments.
Okay. All those in opposition? By saying nay? Okay, the motion carries. Okay. I will now entertain a motion and a second to close a public meeting and enter executive session to discuss litigation. I now have a motion.
Commissioner James, I motion that we close general session and move on to executive session.
Commissioner Stewart, I second the motion.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Thank you for
All
coming,
those in
sir.
opposition?
Great presentation.
The motion carries. Thank you. I will now entertain a motion and a second to well, we're not opening the public hearing. We're getting ready to go into executive session.
Let's take a 5 or 10 minute break, that'll run the rest.
Okay.
come in. We can't, that's not, yeah, we can't talk about anything else.
Talk about that, but,
We can't talk about that
Nope.
then.
I can stay late, though. I can stay if you guys have some additional questions, but the next item on the agenda is to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, it didn't have to be on record, right? Whatever you want.
okay, well. We just adjourn the meeting then.
Make a motion.
It was the board items.
Okay, commissioners, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the public meeting.
Commissioner Smith, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Commissioner Stewart, I second the motion.
I now have a motion and a second, so I will call the vote. All those in favor, please